Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another nervous guide video. This time we're going to talk all things and Juliet. So if you want to know my experience of this show, then stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So we are back with another nervous guide video. If you've never been here before and you don't if you don't know what a nervous guide is, basically we discuss my experience, any sensory or content warnings and anything like that is in this video. The next video that you'll see will be the review. That's not really a review video, where we chat about my thoughts and feelings on people in the show itself, the creative team, that all stuff comes next time. But today we are talking about the nervous guide, about the experience, about the content of this show. So up first, let's talk about the experience. Now, I saw this show a couple of weeks back now. I saw it at the Walls Grand. I feel like when it comes to this theatre, because I spend so much of my time there, I don't need to talk about things that I sometimes talk about when I go to a new theatre or a theatre I haven't been to for a while, such as toilets, such as the staff, such as the theatre itself, because if I did that for every time I visited the Grand this year, I would be repeating myself over and over and over again. However, the one thing to say about this show is that I actually sat in a space in the theatre I haven't been in for a while, because for this show I sat in the Grand Circle, which is a rarity unfortunately at the Grand, for the main reason that 9 times out of 10 the Grand Circle is unopened, or is left unopened should I say, unless it is a big show like Juliet. They tend to keep the Grand Circle closed, which is a bit shame. Saying that, the legroom is definitely a lot different up there than it is in the stalls, which is usually my haunt at the Grand. I am 5'7", 5'8", and I definitely find being in the Grand Circle there is a lot less legroom than other places in the theatre. The Grand Circle when we went was relatively full. There was a few people in the row behind us, there was a full row in the row in front of us. Our row was in fact quite full as well. My legs definitely hit the back of the seats in front in the Grand Circle, not uncomfortably, but it is definitely more of an issue up there than it is in the stalls, because obviously the stalls is different in that there isn't a row in front of you that is slightly lower than you. But view wise, we were sat in C32 and C33. We had a slight view warning, which was that we were at an angled view and that there were parts of the stage that were not visible. We didn't miss anything to my knowledge, because whatever is happening on one side of the stage is happening on the other one. There is 2 very similar like wall-like structures, and occasionally somebody sits on the top of one of them, but it's on the one that we could see. We didn't miss anything view-wise, and that didn't cause any problems, but it is always helpful for someone to warn you that there might be a bit of a view issue. Now on to the content / sensory warnings. Content wise, if you consider the story of Romeo and Juliet and things that would be a content warning there, such as the talk of suicide and death, then there is still that encompassing in and Juliet, but obviously not as heavy. For me, more this show was about the sensory side. Firstly, I don't know if it was our venue, because the Grand is not the largest space. We're not tiny, but we're compact. But the music definitely was quite loud. It definitely gave off very much a concert vibe. The bass was quite strong, to the point that us in the Grand Circle were slightly vibrated in our chair at times. It was quite interesting to experience, but it is something to be aware of, especially if loud music is something that is not your thing. I do feel like it probably depends the space that you're going to see the show in, on the levels and volume, because if you're in a larger space, there is more space for the sound to bounce off. I'm not a scientist, I don't know these things, but it was something that caused us a slight issue, so I thought I would pass it on. Now let's move into the two acts and the moments that I noted down. So Act 1, I have down strobe lights throughout the whole of the song Blow. Obviously that song is supposed to be set at a party. There's going to be some flashing lights at a party, but when they say strobe in this show, they mean strobe. They are quite insane. Like I said, our theatre is on the smaller size of various theatres that I have visited, but the lights were flashing, and they are definitely going throughout the entirety of Blow. And Blow also ends with 2 mini pyros at the back of the stage. I think they come out of the top of speakers. They're not major, but they're a little woohoo, our song is finished. They're not loud, but they're definitely a flash and something to be aware of. Sticking with strobe, I Kissed a Girl, once it gets into the 5, 6, 7, 8, the drama-ish mode, if I can call it that. The strobe is a strobing again, and it's definitely again something to be aware of if flashing lights are a trigger for you. So that is another. Sticking in Act 1, we've got during It's My Life, in fact at the beginning of It's My Life, at the front of the stage there are what I describe as blowers, because I don't know the technical term. Basically they are little canister tube things, and they blow up the air into the sky, again to create a bit of drama, to create a bit of something, but it's like a little bit of noise with them. It's more of a surprise thing than a noise thing. It's a very sudden moment. Finishing off Act 1, Act 1 ends in the good old-fashioned blackout, because why would you end an act in any other way than the lights going out? It's a question. It's a question. Act 2 is a lot calmer, to the point that when it comes to my list, the only one that I really have is the use of a confetti cannon during Raw. It is a powerful beast, to the point that we were getting covered in the 3rd row of the Grand Circle with confetti. One of them actually hit me in the eye. It was quite painful, but it is very much everywhere. I feel sorry for the cleaners on Juliet weeks, because that was a lot of glitter in a short period of time. And to finish it off, at the end of Raw there is another set of mini pyros. My brain can't recollect if they were back towards the back of the stage or to the front of the stage. It has been a couple of weeks since I saw this show, but there is another set of pyros, again not a loud sound with them, more of a shock system than anything else. And there we are, Act 2 is so chilled. Why? And yeah, that is all of the things that I wrote down in regards to this show. And I'm going to leave this video here because that's all I need to say. If you've seen the show and you feel like I've missed anything, feel free to add them in the comments down below. I am only one person, I can only write down things that, one, I remember after the act is finished, and two, that cause me any anxiety or slight distress, and they're usually the ones that I talk about in these videos. But there we go, that is all. I'm gonna leave you here, so thank you very much for watching, and I hope you come back for another video soon. As always, the next video you will be seeing is the review for this show, so if you want to know my thoughts and feelings, stick around and come back for that. But that is me talking about Anne Juliet for one day. All that's left to say is the usual. I love you all lots. I hope you come back next time, and let's go with so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.